This is the award-winning Lee Pitts Live.
Brought to you by the North Law Firm. For car accidents and negligent security cases, call Joe. By Southwest Florida Crime Stoppers, where you can report crimes and get paid with nobody knowing your identity. Call 1-800-780-TIPS. By Solomon's Air Conditioning Incorporated. No matter what the weather condition is outside, have it your way inside. And by Lee Health.
Good morning, Southwest Florida. Welcome back to Lee Pitts Live. We're so thrilled that you put us on your list of things to do. I think you're going to be delighted as well as we come to you from Mount Hermon Ministries, located here in Fort Myers, just outside of downtown Fort Myers in the heart of the Dunbar community. Mount Hermon Ministries does such an outstanding job in our community. We got an interesting lineup today. We got a chance to talk politics. Get a chance to talk to Christy McLaughlin, a candidate for U.S. Congress in Florida. That's be District 19, and she's a Republican. Also, we get a chance to talk to Jason Christian of Heartland Pavement System. He's the territorial manager. I got a chance to catch up with him out at Lee Pitts Live after work. Our next one will be July 10th. Put that on your calendar. The crowd will be out there. It's a dress in white affair. We're going to go to a commercial break. When we come back, it's politics is in the air.
Hi, I'm Michael Ray Qualls Jr. Everybody calls me Coach Ray, and I want to be your Lee County Sheriff. I have been a Southwest Florida resident for 26 years. As a 14-year veteran and a 21-year law enforcement officer, I have a unique and valuable perspective on the importance of a safe community. I am running because our wonderful community deserves to be safe with leadership and experience that we can trust. Law enforcement is in my blood. My dad, who served honorably in the military, is a retired law enforcement officer. He instilled in me service before self. I have experience in homicide investigations, road patrol, crisis intervention, and I'm a trained hostage negotiator. I am running as an independent. On November 3rd, I ask for your valuable vote so I can get to work for you, making our Sheriff's Department a model for this country. To learn more about my campaign and to make a donation, visit CoachRayForLeeSheriff.com. I am Coach Ray, and I approve this message.
Have you or a loved one been the victim of crime at an apartment complex or shopping mall or nightclub? If you think that that crime could have been prevented, then you may have a case. Call me, Attorney Joe North, at 239-337-1191.
Servicing Southwest Florida for over 30 years, Solomon's Air Conditioning Incorporated is your leading family-owned and operated air conditioning company. There's no job too big or too small. Solomon's Air Conditioning Incorporated is here for you. We have maintenance contracts and financing. For additional information, visit our website, follow us on social media, or call the office at 239-693-1569.
Remember, no matter what the weather is on the outside, have it your way on the inside.
Solomon's Air Conditioning Incorporated.
Service you can count on.
Congratulations to Lee Pitts Live, recipient of the NAACP Image Award.
Hi, my name is Dr. Cindy Banier, candidate for Florida Congressional District 19.
I'm a mom, small business owner, and I'm fighting for our water, our health, and our community. I'm running to be the servant leader the people of Southwest Florida deserve. We need leaders who will listen to and work for the people, not the powerful.
Send Mama to Congress to fight for you. Check your voter registration and vote for me, Cindy Banier, in the upcoming Democratic primary. I am Cindy Banier, and I approve this message.
Southwest Florida, welcome back. We're so thrilled to get here in the studio finally. I've seen her do her thing all over social media, so we'll talk about that as well. Christy McLaughlin, candidate for U.S. Congress District 19 and a proud Republican.
Yep. Thank you so much for having me, Lee.
It's so good to get you here. I'm looking at that big badge right there. What has been the response as you're moving around throughout Southwest Florida, particularly in your district, and people see that big badge on you right there, that advertisement? How have they been responding to you?
The response is energetic, and I find that to be so wonderful because people are eager to see a prosperous future in the legislation and seeing Southwest Florida be represented well in DC. And the energy is just through the roof at all times. People are really excited to talk about the issues and to get out there and vote.
But along the way with your style, and that's what attracted me to you when I've watched you talk to the public on social media, you come with a upbeat style, a personable style where people feel comfortable that they can be a part of what you're doing. Talk about how you became the person that you have become to this point to just be a breath of fresh air.
Absolutely. So people always tease me. They call me the cheerleader of Southwest Florida, even though I never was a cheerleader, mainly because this is my home. I'm a lifelong resident, and everybody here is my family and my friend. So to me, it's such a pride and joy to be running for this office. And it's so humbling as well, because I get to represent and serve the community. And that just brings me to be so excited to get to work and to talk about the issues. And that's why I also like to be bubbly and I like to be upbeat and think towards a positive future. And that's what my goal is.
Now, you're a lawyer by trade. Explain your education.
Absolutely. So I'm a lifelong resident, so I went to Florida Gulf Coast University in Fort Myers, and I graduated with a teaching certificate. So I am a Florida certified teacher, and I have experience in a 1st and 4th grade classroom. And then I went to law school in Ave Maria Law School, and I'm a lawyer now.
Okay. So being a lawyer, going to Washington, D.C., representing our district, how does that help you in what you're doing?
It helps me to be a constitutionalist. I have the legal training that's extremely necessary, particularly what we saw with the impeachment circus against Donald Trump. We need constitutionalists who have studied the Constitution, who are well-versed and able to defend it, particularly the type of people who have the energy and stamina to take on socialists, especially since with my familial background, we need somebody who can really fight for an enduring constitution against that socialist government entrenchment.
How would you describe yourself as a Republican? You know, a strict constitutionalist, conservative?
Absolutely. I'm very conservative, and I believe that the Constitution is not a living and breathing document that changes over time. In fact, the Founding Fathers were so prophetic in drafting the Constitution for the issues that we live now, today, in 2020. So I believe in an enduring Constitution and going towards the letter of the law. And that means protecting personal liberties and the Bill of Rights, the First Amendment, Second Amendment. Those are strong, strong rights of the people that need to be protected.
Now, it doesn't surprise you that in some cases, you mentioned Donald Trump, so I'll go there. In some cases, people have identified Donald Trump as someone who has ignored the Constitution in terms of some of the things that he has done. What's your comments to that?
Personally, I disagree, just by actions versus words. I know a lot of people like to quote President Trump in, you know, maybe a misspeak or even just some confusion in what he's trying to represent. But by his actions alone, he is a constitutionalist. And then he's always actually having to fight against rhinos or Democrats that are trying to pull him away from the Constitution and use every power that they have to create those impediments and obstacles. So I think he's done a very strong job in protecting the Constitution.
Now, if you get to Washington, D.C. and represent District 19, you pretty much, if Donald Trump is the president, you pretty much will rubber stamp anything that Donald Trump wants?
Well, of course, my goal is Constitution. So never to rubber stamp anything that any individual wants. It's about the issues. So as a constitutionalist, I will be using that perspective of protecting rights, protecting civil liberties, and that's what I will be working on in Congress.
You've said that, and I heard you say this, that you have strong opinions about China in the pandemic as it relates to our country right now. Go ahead and expound on that.
I strongly think that China needs to be held accountable, and we know for a fact that they had not been transparent. In fact, they were dishonest about the interpersonal transmission of the COVID-19 virus, not to mention that they had, at the same time of banning travel from Wuhan to other parts of China, they still allowed travel from Wuhan to foreign countries. So they were deliberate, if not they were negligent, if not deliberate, in their intentions of spreading this virus, and they need to be held accountable. And that $1.07 trillion in debt that is owed to China, I think that needs to be taken care of, and there has to be some kind of restitution for their actions.
Give me an example what that looks like, though.
Absolutely. So when it comes to restitution, that $1.07 trillion, I think that needs to be waived. And then additionally, we have the $2 trillion stimulus bill, and we can consider holding China accountable for their actions in pain and suffering of the United States, the 75,000 plus people that have died due to this virus in the United States due to their actions.
What do you say to the people who say that the Trump administration moved too slowly on this, that they were aware of this as far back as January, and they drug their feet on it, and they're trying to point the blame over to China and all of these kind of things? You've heard it all.
Right.
Go ahead.
Well, I firmly disagree, because actually he had banned travel for that very specific reason. He had taken early action, and then the preventative measures, unfortunately, were clouded by the lack of transparency and the intentional dishonesty from China, and then the complicity from the WHO, World Health Organization.
You believe that just open the economy, let the chips fall where they may, whoever dies, they die. Let's just move on through, just like any other illnesses, the pandemic, that is. Go.
I feel that it's about personal responsibility. So a government cannot overreach and tell individuals exactly how to run their life. Especially, of course, there's
laissez-faire.
It's more about the personal responsibility of the individuals. We all know the risk. So if you are an at-risk individual, you can quarantine. It's your choice. And you can take the proper precautions to ensure that you remain safe and healthy. But for those that want to get back to work, like I said, there's comorbidities. We saw a 30% increase in domestic violence from the quarantine, once the quarantine had started in Collier County alone. So there are comorbidities, and there's so many more risks that are far more damaging than the virus itself. So that said, it's about personal responsibility and what the individual will do, knowing the risk, and then let they use their liberties to make that decision.
You have a Cuban background?
Yes.
How does that influence you and how you go about your life and how we can see you as a sitting congressperson?
Absolutely. So my Cuban upbringing greatly influenced my moral foundations along with my ideology and philosophy. So that said, there's a strong fight in me against socialism. My great-grandma, who's 101, she raised me knowing full well the impact that political oppression can have on just the individual, but then devastated the country. So when I see other young Congress people representing socialism and trying to bring that to the United States, that actually has pushed me to strongly advocate against it and to get further into the fight and bring that energy against socialism.
I'm gonna call some names. Who's pushing socialism?
Well, the one who's most notorious, it would be Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, otherwise known as AOC. And I often get referred to as the anti-AOC because I am a young Latina woman, but I'm on the exact opposite end of the political spectrum that she is. And I have at least the personal familial background of knowing the damage that socialism can cause. It can just devastate families. It's so... to even fathom bringing socialism to the United States, given the history we just saw in Venezuela, the cost of socialism, that we have to fight it. We cannot let that be a part of the United States.
What made you decide to run for Congress?
I decided to run because Southwest Florida deserves a transparent and honest congressperson to represent Southwest Florida. We have our history of congresspeople who are, they're full of scandal and, malfeasance. With Southwest Florida, I promise to be honest, transparent, and always focus on character and integrity first. This is my pride and joy. I will always put Southwest Florida first, and I will be a strong voice in DC for Southwest Florida.
You hear Make America Great Again. What does that mean to you?
Making America great again, we have such a strong moral foundation that this nation is founded upon. To me, right now, we're actually keeping America great because every time, and you can see it with this COVID-19 pandemic, we come back stronger than ever. And we need to continue on that path that we keep America great.
And what do you say to those people who say that make America great again? America was never great. America's always been struggling to get better, to get maybe one day reach greatness. All of the atrocities of the past, the exploitation of various people, including rape, slavery, and so on, Jim Crow, the whole gambit of things that happened over the years to say, hey, America was never really great. America espoused to improve along the way. Go.
When it comes to the history of atrocities, of course, that needs to be condemned. But the problem is, when it comes to the United States, we have such a strong foundation in personal liberty. So despite the fact that we have some history that is condemned and it's shameful, we need to look towards the fact that at the end of the day, we rise and we continue to rise and go towards a more prosperous future. And that's where you look towards the Bill of Rights, you look towards personal liberties, and that life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is the very foundation of our nation. That is what makes America great.
How are you distinguishing yourself from the other, say, 9 Republicans who've already entered into the race, District 19, Congress, U.S. Congress of Florida? What about you, Christy, that's distinguishing you from the field?
Well, one particular issue is that I am not influenced by any other special interests. The only influence I have is that of the people of Southwest Florida. And you could just see that from my background of being a lifelong resident. I know the issues of Southwest Florida personally because I lived them every day of my life. And I don't have other influences of government entrenchment, career politicians, and abuse of the system that will lead me towards using political clout for my own needs rather than the needs of Southwest Florida.
People need to they will see you on the ballot in the primaries, August 18th.
Yes.
They can also see you currently now on a daily basis, I would say, in your virtual town halls. Go.
My virtual town halls, with the COVID-19 pandemic, it actually inspired me to be even more accessible to the community. If I want to represent Southwest Florida, I firmly believe that you have to be accessible. Every single person in Southwest Florida needs to be able to think that they can reach me personally. So when I came up with the virtual town halls, it was trying to be creative and energetic and saying, okay, we have a pandemic, but I'm still going to be accessible to the community. So I do weekly town halls, sometimes several a week, with various small business owners. We have issues of like Second Amendment. We have a different theme every week, and it's just another way of bringing the community together.
How can people tap into your town halls?
Check me out on Facebook. Check me out on my website, ChristyForCongress.com. I also have a YouTube account, and my Facebook is linked on that website.
Back to diversity. Southwest Florida is more and more becoming diverse. All races, African Americans, Hispanics, Caribbean, Cuban, just the works. Mm-hmm. Do you see yourself as a person who can get votes from all different demographics?
Absolutely, because that diversity, to me, it's not about race. It's not about identifying the differences. It's about that we are all people of Southwest Florida. And, I am just one of those people. And I think I can represent that well because it's family and friends. This is where I grew up. These are the people I grew up with. This is who I intend to have a future with. It's about people. Mm-hmm. And it's not about differentiating different needs. And as the young, energetic candidate in the group, I definitely have the energy to reach out to all of those sectors.
How do you see the environment? Is it important?
Absolutely. And especially here in Florida, we need clean water. And that is one of the prime issues that I intend to represent in Southwest Florida. My first swim was in one of the Southwest Florida beaches, and we need clean water, and that's a huge issue. And that's an investment that I will be fighting for in Congress.
What is your hope for America, say 5 years from now? What will America look like?
Well, that's why I'm always looking towards the future.
Mm-hmm.
Coming out of the pandemic, this is not the first pandemic we've ever seen, and it won't be the last. So my hope is, America always comes back stronger than ever, that this is a learning experience, that we will be able to improve, prepare some more preventative measures and better reacting measures when it comes to a pandemic. But also, I predict to see a very prosperous future for the United States.
How can people get involved with your campaign?
Visit ChristyForCongress.com. There you can find my personal contact. You'll always be able to reach me, and that's how we get started.
Okay. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on the show and looking forward to getting you back in the future.
Thank you so much, Lee.
All right. Good luck with your campaign.
Thank you.
As the saying goes on this particular show, for those who say it can't be done, they're usually interrupted by those like Christy and all the people who are associated with her campaign who are doing it. We'll see you.
Are you a single mother who wants a better life for your children? Would you like the means to get an education and get a job so that you and your children can live comfortably? The New Beginnings may be able to help you. The New Beginnings of Southwest Florida is a nonprofit organization that comes alongside single mothers by offering no-cost housing and child care support while you get a degree at a local college or technical school. Too good to be true, you say? We provide necessities, but you do the work to get the degree. Call 239-541-4312 to get an application, or go to our website at thenewbeginnings.org.
In Southwest Florida, a baby is born every 9.5 minutes. False. In Lee County, a family gets a new puppy every 9.5 minutes. False. In America, a person is infected with HIV every 9.5 minutes. Unfortunately, true. Learn the truth about HIV. Be positive you're negative. Get tested. If you are positive, get treated. For more information about testing and treatment, contact the McGregor Clinic in Fort Myers, 334-9555.
Be sure to connect to Lee Pitts Live on all our social media platforms. The award-winning Lee Pitts Live is brought to you by the School District of Lee County.
Southwest Florida, welcome to Lee Pitts Live after work. And of course, I be he, Lee Pitts, and hopefully by now, Lee Pitts Live After Work has become a branded household name. We've been working on getting that done, and now I hear people walking around saying, hey, when they see me, hey, Lee Pitts Live After Work. That means we're making some progress. We're here at our March edition. Our next edition will be May 8th with downtown Fort Myers at Club Celsius, a networking event for the ages. We have all types of professionals who are here and many who are filing in as the night goes on. We start about 5 o'clock and then we're done about 10 o'clock. One month, every other month, we come out for this networking and live entertainment and food upstairs and so on and so forth. But one of the ways we make this happen is we have our vendors upstairs and various sponsors. One of our big sponsors that's been with us since day one in terms of attending and now is on board as a sponsor we're so happy to have is Heartland. Is it Heartland what?
Heartland Payment System.
Heartland Payment System under the leadership of this gentleman right here. Let's get your full name for TV purposes.
Jason Christian.
And Jason, what do you do at Heartland?
So basically we help payments, we help business owners accept payments as well as work on profit retention. So that's anything from brick to click. So from your storefront to your online to billing, invoicing, mobile. Heartland's actually the second largest direct payment processor in the country, and I've actually been with them for 6 years.
Okay. Now you're here in Southwest Florida, you're like a regional director or something like that?
I am a territory manager, so basically I manage Lee and Collier County. I work with many local business owners that you would know. And I would say something that sets me apart is that 50% of my new business comes from my current clients, and that speaks volumes. Where my clients have been, I've had clients for 4 to 5 years now, and in payment processing, a lot of business owners don't really understand how it works. They get caught in and they pay a lot of fees that they don't really understand and don't really need to.
So tell me, give me a typical example. So people at home who are saying, I may could use your services, they're looking at this interview, they've heard of Heartland, they may Google you now. Tell us like a typical thing your business does, you could come in and make them more efficient and enhance their business.
Okay, I have a pool company that wants their clients to be able to go to their website and pay with a check, or they can pay with a credit card. and we can set that up for them with no cost. Also, after they get their statements, I come out, go over them with them so that they know how to read them, see if there's any places where they could lower their costs. Our fees are also fixed for 3 years, and that's huge because Visa, MasterCard are always changing their fees every year. So we go out and we continuously follow up with them. Also, it's also good for people that have a food truck or mobile jobs, like if they're a AC vendor, they can accept payments right there on the scene, on their phone, on their iPad, their Droid tablet as well, or your just normal credit cards terminal on the counter.
Now you mentioned people, you said that the credit card companies go up on their fees all the time. You, Heartland, is not a credit card company per se though, are you?
We are a credit card processor. So what we do is we basically move that money for you. And basically what makes credit card processing so hard to understand is there's no rules, and business owners we're such a rate-driven culture that we get caught up in this rate and don't really understand exactly what is truly going on. You get your statement, and then you're paying twice as much as what you thought you were going to pay. With Heartland, we're really big on being transparent, honest about what your costs are going to be. So we're based on 3 different things: being honest, transparent, and fair.
Now, who would be your client? Would it be small businesses, large businesses, medium size?
Everything, small to large. Some of our nationally known vendors that you would know are 7-Eleven, Ticketmaster, Citco, Panera Bread, Taco Bell. Those are some of our national clients. But I do anything from your restaurants, because Heartland's also endorsed by the National Restaurant Association. So that's huge there. But I do restaurants, I do trailer vendors, AC companies, plumbers, truck mechanics, auto mechanics, medical offices, so everything, vets.
Sounds really good. Now, you are here tonight. You have your information upstairs. You're one of our vendors tonight. When people come to your table upstairs, what kind of information you have to provide to them?
Well, I'm going to share with them about what we do. Again, also ways that they can lower their costs where they're not really told about, and keep their payments secure, especially with people doing e-commerce. They might send out a product, and then that client gets that product, calls their bank, and says that they never got it. So then that merchant is losing out on their hard-earned money. That's where I actually come into play, where I would say that I'm definitely a expert on letting people know how to go about protecting themselves as well as keeping their costs low. Heartland also does payroll, and we do capital lending as well.
6 years you've been at it. That's the success within its own right.
6 years,
and going to continue to grow at that. One of the top companies in the nation. You guys,
exactly.
What you do.
And I would also say that how we get paid, honestly, is just like a business owner. We don't get a salary. We're 100% commission, residual income, and I say that because that
hold that mic up a little higher.
I say that because it speaks volumes. If I wasn't servicing my clients, I wouldn't keep them for 4 to 5 years if we weren't doing what we said we would do.
I see. How can people get in touch with you?
Well, they can call me on my cell phone, which is 239-357-4286. They can also email me at jason.christian, CHRISTIAN@e-hps.com, or you can get with me on LinkedIn.
Lee Pitts Live is a Lee Pitts Enterprise production.